my friends in film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching, thank you so much for giving us just a little bit of your time. Hey, you guys, remember this face? Remember me? Remember when I was here like all the time for like every stream, and it was only like the occasional one that I would miss, and then for some reason for the last 2 weeks, stuff got in the way. But thankfully, I have an amazing crew that can carry on in my stead, led of course by my hetero life mate Jeremy. Tech's doing his usual thing. Cora's been here. So there's a reason why this channel is getting successful. It's because of all these guys. There's no doubt about that. But we're here to talk about one of the great fandom movies of all time tonight. Here to do that with me is my hetero life mate Jeremy. What's up, brother?
Somebody clipped that. Did you hear that? The success is because of me. That's what happened.
What?
I'm just saying numbers speak for themselves.
Cora's been here too. That could easily be Cora.
That's also true. As soon as she came back, I mean, it has gone through the roof. So at least somebody's got to class this joint up. So I mean, why not her? Somewhat mildly related entertainment news. I got some, and I had to bring everybody down, but I just found out that the dog that played Dog in Walking Dead just passed away. So rest in peace.
Oh, rest in peace, Dog.
Rest in peace, Dog.
Cross the Rainbow Bridge into doggy heaven. Isn't it a Rainbow Bridge? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Rainbow Bridge. They went to a farm somewhere with plenty of walkers that he can bite in the ankles and do whatever with. So.
Damn right. He's tearing up those zombies in the sky.
Hell yeah.
And of course, the shape from the Lone Star State, the man who refers to himself in the third person gets confused with the bitches. His name's Tex. What's up, brother?
Well, since Cora's not here, I'll go ahead and take her share of the credit for all the good that we've done the last few, recordings here lately. So, yay me, I'm awesome. But no, what's up, everybody? There are 2 rules tonight. There's no touching the red button, and there's no whacking it on this podcast. And I'm looking at you, Jeremy. Okay? Just it's not allowed.
Keep it off camera. Keep it off camera.
You don't know what's going on. This is the line right here. No one goes below that line. What? Just because I said it's always Rush, it's all Rush all the time.
You know how many times I've done this show with no pants on and nobody's been the wiser?
How do you know hey, I could be bottomless right now, and you'd never know until I stand up and, just ruin your whole YouTube channel. So it's just a wait and see thing.
It's summer in Texas. It's hot down there. I wouldn't be surprised.
Hey, you know what?
Let the air flow.
Right, Tin Hut, it's all commando, buddy. It's what you got to do, so it's all good.
Our sub count went through the roof. You're welcome.
I figured we blow it up like 107 subs last month in the last 28 days or something. I think we had.
Yeah,
and then Tex is going to screw it all up by standing up and showing his wiener. But that explosion of growth,
if I did that,
screw it up.
If I did that, you'd be the next, Mr. Beast or something. I would put you over the top, buddy. But then we'd have to go to a different platform and money get involved. It'd be a whole thing. It'd be a mess. So.
Yeah. On that note, make sure you join us on Rumble just in case one of us does do something stupid to get us kicked off YouTube. I do want to start going live over there. So follow us on Rumble as well. I really do want to. All I have to do is hit 50 followers over on Rumble, and we will be able to start going live over there. And I think that will help Rumble a lot too. But so go follow us on Rumble if you get a chance. Links in the description. But let's get down to business right now. We're here to talk about Fanboys. It's a 2009 American comedy film directed by Kyle Newman, starring Dan Fogler, Jay Baruchel, Sam Huntington, Chris Marquette, and Kristen Bell. The story follows a group of Star Wars fans who head on a road trip to Skywalker Ranch to steal a rough cut of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, for their dying friend. The film was released in the United States on February 6th of 2009, and while the exact budget wasn't widely known, it did make $961,000 in a very limited box office run. The film has gained quite a cult following the years since its release due to the resurgence of the franchise and multiple cameos from Star Wars actors as well as other famous fans of the franchise. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 32% based on 97 reviews and an average rating of 4.8 out of 10. The site's consensus review reads, quote, "This undercooked, sporadically funny road movie is a standard operating procedure to Star Wars fanatics, but the uninitiated will find little to enjoy." I think that's a little harsh, but we'll go into why in just a minute. I'll go to you first, Jeremy. Give me some of your quick thoughts on Fanboys.
I think you're fucking stupid. I think you're wrong. What do movie critics know anyway? So
yeah, really.
Yeah, you know what? This is the thing about when I see reviews like that, I'm like, I mean, not everything is Oscar bait, as we keep saying. Like, you're not going to see the next like Orson Welles movie or something, like the next Wizard of Oz, Gone with the Wind. I'm like, do you not know like how to have fun? I mean, what 90% of the rest of like film is like, you know, people want to be entertained and have a good time. Like, I don't understand that. I cannot wait to talk about this movie. I don't care who hosted this show. I'm here for this movie. I would give it a lot higher marks than that. This, I can count on one hand how many times I went, and everybody brace yourself, I know I'm old. I went to a Kmart, and in the movie section, rest in peace, Kmart. And this is one of those movies I just saw on the shelf, and I'm just like, that looks like a fun movie. And I just grabbed it. Like, that shot you had, I think it's the thumbnail. Like, that's the cover of the movie, and I'm just like, this just looks like right up my alley, and I don't care what it's about. I'm buying it. It was a few bucks, you know, back in the good days of the economy. And then I took it home and watched it, and I've loved this movie ever since that time. Always makes me laugh. I constantly quote this movie. It's up there for me. If I had to make, I don't know if I want to say top 10, but I'm like, it would be in there somewhere. Like, I'd get to it a lot sooner than some movies. So, but listen to the critics. Just have fun.
Yeah, Tex, how about you? Give me some quick thoughts on what you think of Fanboys.
This is fun. This is carefree. This is the most 90s nostalgia throwback movie I've felt in a long time. The amount of long sleeve shirts under short sleeve shirts is ridiculous in this movie. All they needed to bring back was that. Oh my God, I was getting flashbacks of all the people that did that. I'm like, Jesus, why are you wearing two shirts? That never made sense to me. But anyway, that's the first one.
I can tell you why. This is another reason why this movie sits so well with me. They're from Ohio. It gets cold in Ohio, and you got to learn how to layer properly.
If you're going to layer, the long shirt goes over the short sleeve. I don't know. I'm getting on a tangent.
No.
Either way.
No. God damn it, I got
either way.
There goes my camera. Son of a bitch.
No, I like this movie. This is a fun watch. Star Wars for me, I'm a prequel guy. Like, I love the original trilogy. I think everybody does. But I'm a prequel guy when it comes to Star Wars. I can vividly remember the anticipation for Star Wars Episode 1, coming out. 2, 3, all of that. That is my favorite Star Wars. If I can only ever watch 3, that's the 3 I'm going to pick. So this movie is right up my alley because I was like 8th grade, 9th grade, like when the Phantom Menace had came out, and I can remember being in this. And so this movie for me is just a callback to that era in time of, yeah, we had the internet, but it wasn't like great. It wasn't whatever, And it's a fun one to watch. It's a fun, stupid movie with great cameos, cheesy. It's a road movie. It's like Jeremy said, you're not getting Shakespeare here. Do you just not, do you not like having a laugh and being entertained every once in a while? I don't see how you can not like this movie. Even for a non-Star Wars fan, insert your fandom here, whether it's Batman or whatever it may be. It's the same process. But I dig it. It's a lot of
fun. No Trekkies though. We don't hawk Trek here.
Fuck Trek.
You gotta suss out those Trekkie bitches.
Well, hey,
off our
is he gay? Hey, is he gay or is he British? I mean, we can have that argument. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I'll tell you what. You want to know one of the most rousing things that can be said about this movie is everything Tex just said. Do you want to know why? Because this is a guy who doesn't really like anything that doesn't have murder and boobs in it.
Yeah.
And this movie has neither of those things. Well, I mean, not that you see anyway.
We do get one woman. Well, the nudity count for this one for the uninitiated. There's one woman ass. It's not Kristen Bell, so I have to dock points for that. But we do get to see the gorgeous Jamie King almost naked down to her skivvies, ass up. So that counts for something. It's fine.
And this is the guy who thought Oppenheimer was boring. one of the greatest movies of the last 10 or 12 years.
I thought it was amazing.
No, Oppenheimer can eat my ass. I don't give a fuck about it. That movie sucked. I would watch this 1,000 times over Oppenheimer. I don't care what you say.
This is the guy
I'm saying art.
Yeah, I'm saying. So this is coming from Tex. He doesn't. who tries really hard to like things that are not hardcore horror, but struggles to do it. And he's over here singing his praises. Look, to me, the movie, it's a good movie just at its core. It's a fun movie. It plays the emotional stuff with the dying friend and blah, blah, blah. It plays with, it examines Star Wars fandom a little bit. That's great. But here's one of the things that, as I was watching this last night, getting the stream together, here's one of the things that really struck me. This movie is based in a time where fandom wasn't so toxic and stupid. I've complained many times on different reviews for different things. Fandom sucks. Like the fandom that I exist in is basically all the people that come on this YouTube channel with me, and the people that I talk or watch regularly. Night Watch guys like that. Those that's my fandom, because we can agree and disagree, whatever, and still have respect for one another. Still trying to understand each other's point of view. But it's like Star Wars in particular. Over the since Force Awakens came out, that fandom has gotten so bad.
Just call it what it is.
Not since Disney. Since Force Awakens, I think if Force Awakens would have been made by just Lucasfilm, still owned by Lucas, it still would have been the same shit. Because so many Star Wars fans specifically have become such assholes about the franchise. It's like, dude, I know that we all feel, especially if something like Star Wars has been around for most of our lives. I mean, Star Wars is as old as I am. I was 1 year old when the first Star Wars movie came out, when New Hope came out. I mean, so this is literally my lifetime of fandom for this franchise. And it's like, it got so sour so fast. And I didn't understand it, because I thought Force Awakens was a good movie. I mean, the other two, whatever, say what you will about them. Force Awakens was a strong movie.
Is that right?
It's up there in the top half of all the Star Wars episodic films. But the way that people turned on that, I was like, what the hell is wrong with you guys? This is the movie that we thought we'd never get. And now it comes out and it's good. And there's a lot of good about it. There were some things, sure, you can complain about. But, I mean, fandom got so fucking toxic. And this movie harkens back to the days where you were just fans. Like, the internet was still very new in the movie. I mean, the Tough Book was funny. It's like, I swear to God, that thing's an antique now. But I mean, going back to the day where websites were still a new thing, where Harry Knowles was still like the biggest thing on the internet about breaking scoops and shit, and that was a million years ago. For those of you who even still know that name, it went back to the days where it's like, yeah, there was probably some fans out there that were just kind of poo-pooing shit, but it's like that's when we were all more united as fans before fandom became so terrible. Nowadays, I don't even want to. It's like when people start talking about some of these movies, I'm like, yeah, it's like I'll talk to you about it. But if you start giving me the hint that you're going to be one of those assholes, it's like, whatever, made this dude chick, made her gay, and I'm like, well, if that's the only gripe you've got, and you can't tell me anything about the story, if you can't tell me anything about character development, if your only gripe is they gender switched the character or made a female the lead, I'm like, I'm sorry, you're not really watching things. You're not watching the whole thing. Sometimes it annoys me, but other times, if it's working this stuff overall, it's great. But that's one of the things I like about this movie is that it pulls us back. It ages well too, which is really nice. But it pulls us back to a time where being a fan of something, especially as big as Star Wars, was not so bad. It's like, the irony is the movie takes place before Episode 1, which was one of the movies that really kind of divided a lot of fans. The entire prequel series as a whole really divided a lot of fans. So it's ironic that that's kind of where the fandom turns so toxic. For Star Wars in particular, that's kind of where everything turns so toxic. But let's get into the movie now and we'll get to it. Let's talk about the cast. I mean, you can't. So many people who were relatively unknown at this time. I mean, even Kristen Bell was relatively new. She did like Veronica Mars and stuff like that, but her star hadn't fully risen yet. But let's talk about the cast. I mean, Dan Fogler has gone on to do some absolutely crazy, funny things. Jay Baruchel's done a lot of stuff. Sam Huntington's done a lot of stuff. Chris Marquand, I don't think I've seen him in a whole lot. But, I mean, this main core of characters in this film, I mean, the chemistry couldn't have been much better. I mean, just played perfectly against each other. Tex, what did you think of the cast of the film, and who stood out to you the most?
Well, for me, I can't pick just one, so I'm going to do three and cheat because, whatever. Big Chuck, Christopher McDonald, I mean, Shooter McGavin, so many things the dude has done. Come on, the guy's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, just his little portion in the beginning where he's shooting the car commercials with the girls in the bikinis. Here, you put the hat on. He's insisting the kid puts the hat on. But I have to give a shout out to my boy Darth Maul, Ray what's his last actor? You know, his short little, you know, if you didn't know who he was, you would, you know, just, oh, he's some guy. But my favorite is the brother Chaz, David Denman. I can't remember his last name. You know, I mean, he comes in, you know, he's the bully. What's up, C3 penis face and R2D, or what is it, R2 dickhead or whatever it is? I love his, how, like, the beginning of the movie, you think he's going to be like the anti-Star Wars guy, and then by the time you get to the end of the film, it's the wars, man, come on, you know, and he's bullying the other nerds into asking his brother for an autograph on the comic book. I mean, it's just, you know, so even once the film comes out, he comes full circle, and he was a fan all along. He was just being an older brother. But yeah, Chaz was definitely my favorite character by far.
Jay, what about you? Again, a cast of great young actors kind of coming to their own back in 2009 when this movie came out. Yeah. Who stood out to you the most?
Well, I guess my obvious answer is Dan Fogler. I think this is probably the first time I saw him, and I'm just like, there it is. That's like the first introduction to him. I'm like, I love this man. I know this friend.
Motherfucker couldn't stop pumping. My God.
He's like, I'm sorry, I just got into that right there. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is I'm like, even like this shot right here, like these guys, I'm like, we talked about their chemistry. Like you believe these guys are like friends. Because I was like, I see my own friend group in these guys. Like I feel for this movie. And like as I've gotten older, probably closer now to the age that they're probably supposed to be in this movie. Well, they're probably like in their mid-20s, but it just keeps growing on me. Then Dan Fogler went on to do like Fantastic Beasts and Walking Dead. So I'm like, you know what, this dude's got an A in my book.
Yeah.
For my not obvious answer, I could probably go with every damn cameo that was in this movie. Like there were so many. This man right here, the Chief. Any movie that has Danny Trejo is automatically bumped up a few stars. I mean, let's be honest here.
Right.
If you got that up still, obviously, now we can scene transition. See how well this works. These two fuckers are in this movie, so I mean, maybe not James Almost specifically, right? Yeah, and the studs. So.
Jamie using their selling his ass.
There it is.
Well, I mean, come on, like just woman, right?
That's it, man. I don't want to do this anymore. Why not? You go tell your friends.
He kisses. When the bald dude kisses at Jamie, he's like he's some broad. It's just fucking hilarious.
Like I said, I'm not going to matter about cameos like that. So,
man. Yeah, I mean, for me, look, this movie had to have that emotional kick to it. If you just made it about a road trip to go try to steal a copy of the movie ahead of time, it would have been fun, but it would have been missing a certain dimension. And, Chris Marquette, who plays the dying friend, I was just like, he really does almost accidentally in parts of the movie kind of inject a little bit of emotion. Now, there's that one really heavy scene at the very end where, all of a sudden done, he's seen the movie, they're sitting at that campground thing, and he's just kind of like sitting on the log looking at his friends talking and hanging out, kind of taking the moment because he knows how it's going to end. But it's like, even like when he starts to get sick, like early on in the movie, it's like stuff that's supposed to be mostly comedic. He injects a weird amount of emotion into it. It's not too much. It's not overdone. It's just a reminder that, like, while we're all laughing at this crazy shit that these idiots are doing, trying to, drive to Skywalker Ranch and steal a copy of this movie from George Lucas, that there is something a little heavier going on here. And every now and again, he puts just enough that in there to remind you guys that there's a serious angle to all of this. I thought it was really well done. Another thing that I realized. Go ahead.
Well, I think someone, I wish I could remember where I found it. It might have been like the DVD extra features. But someone said, like, if you look at the dynamic of these guys, he's the dying friend's kind of like the sage, like wise Obi-Wan Jedi Master kind of guy, where he's he's got some of the stoic moments, but he's still got his hello there moments. You know what I mean? like I said, that these all genuinely feel like they've been friends, since they were little kids. Like,
well, you know what I found interesting is I was doing some reading on this last night. Is these guys have all stayed pretty close since, and they're awesome. And we'll talk about a potential sequel here in a minute. But I mean, it's like they've all kind of like knocked around have kind of held on to this hope. It's like maybe there is some way we can kind of go revisit this group of people again in some way, and maybe kind of just live in that world again go back to Shandall, Ohio, or whatever, which is an anagram for Ashland, Ohio, by the way. And
it's like a combination of a few towns in Ohio or something.
The guy who directed this, Kyle Newman, is from Ashland.
Okay,
and so he took the letters from Ashland, Ohio, and just rearranged them into a different town, so that's why it became Sandal or something.
But you could believe it's a town in Ohio, because like I said, first of all, Ohio isn't real, and I'm like, I think the other day Rachel said something about a town, and she's like, "That's not a real place." I'm like, "That is actually literally a real place. I have heard that town name." Like, no, it's not. I'm like, I'm probably
I've seen all the driving around this area of Ohio that I have to do for work. It's like I wrote some crazy town names. I'm just like, God, it sounds like something out of 1934, but whatever.
Right.
But another thing that I had noticed when I was watching this, one of the cameos that really jumped out at me, it almost made me sad for a minute. I haven't watched a movie with Carrie Fisher in it since the last Star Wars movie came out.
It hurts more now because now.
Not that I haven't wanted to, but it's like it's just it hasn't come up. I haven't had a chance to watch the thing. I was just telling somebody the other day about Terms of Endearment? Maybe it is Terms of Endearment. The one that she was in that was basically like a small mini biography about her and her mom's relationship. But I hadn't seen anything with her in it since the last Star Wars movie. And when her scene came up, it's like I was just like, has it been that long? Has it been 5-6 years now or something like that? I mean, has it been that long since she left us? Because Princess Leia, she's something else. I mean, she holds a place in cinematic history that few people can ever reach. And Carrie Fisher herself, having had such a great career, I mean, she's always going to be a part of the Star Wars lexicon, more so than almost anybody else. I mean, she's the original three. I mean, she is the trilogy of Star Wars greats from a galaxy far, far away. So, seeing her, it did kind of take me back for a minute. As much as I was enjoying the movie when I got to her scene, there was this weird kind of twinge of sadness in my chest. When I saw her, I was just like, I feel bummed now. I mean, I feel like I've gotten used to the loss. You know what I mean? When you lose somebody.
Yeah, but then like every time I see her, I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, I wish we could have gotten some fresh stuff of her in the last film. I mean, we've talked about it, a lot, how they could have handled that kind of thing, whatever. But I mean, bottom line is she's passed on. It's very, very sad. I mean, again, these movies came out in 1977, the year after I was born. So for almost literally all of my life, she has been Princess Leia, and it was sad to see her and to know that she is no longer with us.
I think she said it best. She's like, "I am Princess Leia, and Princess Leia is me." And I'm like, if that's not the most like poignant thing I've ever heard, like that's something that's. She's going to hold that title for quite a while. I'm really sad she didn't get to see the little girl who portrays her in the Obi-Wan series. I'm like, she has that same little like level of sass where I'm like, I believe this little girl is like a young Carrie Fisher, and I would have loved to have seen her like interact with her. That would have been pretty awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't blown away by Obi-Wan, by the series. It had its moments for sure. But man, that girl! I mean, if you could have gone back in time and gotten Carrie Fisher as like a 9-year-old, it probably would have been that girl. I mean, they nailed that casting. I mean, it's hard to take your eyes off her when she's off screen. She is a mini version of Leia, of that scrappy person who's always stirring shit up.
It wasn't even like when we were talking about watching the last movie where it's like we know Carrie Fisher had already passed, so seeing them like recycle scenes from like the past movies to try to make it work. It was a sad, like, in the back of my mind that I'm like, I know she's gone. And it was like mildly distracting to me. Seeing the little girl portray like our very young Princess Leia, it's like, it almost wasn't distracting. I was kind of just like drawn into her where I'm like, I believe that you're really this character. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't too, I wasn't being like thrown off and like distracted. Like, oh yeah, she's gone. But like, no, that's again where you nailed the casting perfectly.
Yeah, and of course the cameos. I mean, Ray Parks was great.
I don't want to admit it's kind of embarrassing how long I didn't know that was Darth Maul. I don't know why one day I was watching it and it just suddenly, for some reason, clicked when he's like, "You're going to get mauled, boy." And I was like, "Holy, wait a goddamn minute. That is Darth Maul." He even said it over and over in my face, and I never caught it.
Well,
you don't have the iconic look.
When he whips out those sticks, he goes, "You're about to get mauled," or "Time to get mauled," or something like that.
Yeah, like, "Time to get mauled, boy." I'm like, oh, he does like a sweet backflip. I'm like, oh, that's Ray Park. I'm so stupid.
Ironically, he plays Darth Maul ironically, he plays Darth Maul in the movie they're trying to steal. That's the funny part about it all.
Yeah, that is kind of the best. Yeah. I hope you got a picture of him. One of the other great ones, again, of the greats, is Billy D. Williams. I'm like, again, you got Carrie Fisher and Billy to be in this movie. Like, you sold me.
Picture of him. I don't know why.
You didn't get a picture of Landale Calrissian?
I should have. It's Billy. Just beyond Landale, it's Billy D.
I'm like, it is. Yeah, he is ascended. He is Billy D. I mean, how do you?
He's like, I think of all the people that have kind of transcended the Star Wars role, it's like him, obviously, Billy, because Billy D was big before Star Wars.
Oh, he was. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was already a big thing.
Hall of Fame
going back in the '60s. But I mean, and obviously, Han Solo himself, Harrison Ford. I mean, he kind of went on. Obviously, so many movies after that. And then, of course, the Indiana Jones stuff.
He's the greatest actor of all time. He's never made a bad movie. Right.
Yeah, that's and they drive by the one for the whatever the hell that
7 days.
Yeah, it was
7 nights.
I watched it once and I was like, "This is not good. This is not good." Harrison Ford. But yeah, the movie's full of in-jokes like that too, which are fucking hilarious. But yeah, the cast was fantastic. Now let's talk about the plot for just a minute. It's pure driving across the country to steal a movie. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
it's something we would all fucking do. I mean, if I would have been sentient enough to do it at the time in 1990, whatever, when this movie was getting ready to come out, if I'd even thought about it, I 100% would have jumped in my car, driven to Lucas Valley Ranch, which is actually only about an hour and a half from where I grew up, believe it or not. It's in the North Bay. It's just north of San Francisco. I would have 100% driven to Lucas Valley Ranch trying to find a way in there. If me and 3 of my friends would have got together and been like, let's do some crazy shit, I would have risked it. I would have risked getting arrested. I would have done it. Now granted,
the ranch or we die trying.
Yeah, you obviously there's the added thing of like, he's not going to live long enough to see the movie and so on and so on. But I mean, just to do it, 100% worth it, I think. I don't know. I'll start with you, Jeremy, since I think Texas still stepped away for a minute. What did you think of the plot of the movie? Was it a little too outlandish for you, or was it kind of perfect for this group of kooky people?
No, dude. Like I said, I love this movie. It's just like, even if you kind of think like that map right there, you think of this wild idea that like, and again, it holds a special place to me because again, I'm like, when you have a movie, especially is set in the state I've lived in, you have these guys from Ohio that like, yeah, this wild story of like, we're going to go from Ohio to California and like just go break into Skywalker Ranch. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a good plot for a movie. And then there's going to be all kinds of stupid shenanigans along the way, like possibly being a, cyber pedophile, maybe. It's not sex if it's cyber sex. I don't know. Gray areas. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I really feel bad because like this movie, just so much. This is still in that era. I still think that's that era of like the goofy like early 2000s movies, like not like American Pie, but like you know what I mean, kind of like the goofy comedies where.
Well, you could. Well, I mean, even in going into the 2000s, you could still make certain jokes without bothering people. It was after this movie came out, maybe shortly thereafter, that people started to get too sensitive because like they dropped the F word for homosexuals a lot in this movie. And I remember watching it last night thinking, I don't think you can say that anymore. If they had made this movie last year.
Well, and also it is set in a different time, too. You're talking about this set in the late 90s. Like
in the 90s, yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you just kind of, it's part of it. Yeah, and like I said, I'm so glad I found this movie. And it just, again, it holds a good place for me because I see my own friend group with these guys that if we had a cool van that had, Lightspeed and Rush, I mean, yeah, we're calling Chewie and we're getting in the van. You know what I mean? And everybody keep your hands up in the air. Like just, we gotta have a hand check here. Man, it's a fun ride. Like, cause it's never just going to go right according to plan. Like you're going to, you're going to go to Iowa to just harass a bunch of Trekkies, one of which who looks like Seth Rogen suspiciously. You might end up getting your ass beat by Harry Knowles in Texas. You might end up in Vegas. I mean, hell. And then William Shatner just kind of comes out of the shadows, and of course, he can't not stroke his own ego and give you a book all about Star Trek and Captain Kirk, but until he gets stiffed by it's a bad choice of words. Get stiffed by like two hookers or escorts, whatever the correct term is to call them, and then get dropped on by the pimp who also suspiciously looks like Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen's in this movie 3 times, everybody.
He's played 3 different roles in this movie.
Yeah, he plays the pimp. He plays the lead Star Trek character, and he's the like weird Trekkie alien that like stops them before they meet William Shatner. So clearly he's a fan of this stuff too. So yeah, and then like I said, it does still, even after all this kind of goofy stuff, like you're running away from this crazed pimp, and then your terminally ill friend falls out of the van, and you're like, oh shit, where did he go? And then you take him to the hospital, and you realize it's getting kind of dire, and then you gotta like I said, you gotta find your Death Star. Like I said, there's so many things in this movie that I quote that I use in real life, and that's like one of them. Calling Chewie. I definitely call my garage all the time. It's not a garage, it's a carriage house. Okay. It's a carriage house, and I'm putting Mario Kart in that bitch from the N64 like they did in the movie. I might even get a sign. I'm just saying. Yeah. So, and then you get some fun, like, bullshittery going through Lucas Ranch just to find out that, what's that guy's name? The head security guy. I've seen him in like
Danny McBride.
Yeah, Danny McBride. Just sudden Danny McBride too. Like I said, the cameos don't stop. Has a direct line to George Lucas, and I really wish that I don't know if they maybe tried to reach out, but I'm like, I would have loved to have seen like just a little scene of like George on the phone, or just like suggest that like even if you couldn't do it, get somebody like in a dark lit room and you just kind of see the beard like talking on the phone. And they let their friend watch the movie, and it was a cool thing to see. And it's like, and it gets kind of heavy at the end, like losing their friend, and they all go see the movie in his honor. But what they don't realize is like, I mean, what if the movie sucks?
Yeah, which I thought is the best line of that movie.
That's the best way to end that movie.
Especially considering how divisive it ended up being with fans, it was like that's pretty fucking funny.
Come on, you telling me we all didn't go out and go get like big Jar Jar tattoos on our backs like Seth Rogen did? Come on. He's gonna be the shit, I tell you.
I did get a picture of Billy D as Judge Reinhold, by the way. Don't make fun of his name. Don't make fun of his name.
Do not make fun of his name. Yeah, again, like him playing the cool, just like judge of this little town in New Mexico. What can I say? It's Billy D. Williams. So, and I love that what they did with the cameo with Carrie Fisher. As soon as they go to break out of the hospital, and he just like grabs her face and gives her a big kiss. He goes, "I love you," and she goes, "I know." And they just take off. Like, God damn it!
My only knock on that scene is I wish it would have been on her face when she said it, because she is one of those people that kind of emotes when she delivers certain pieces of dialogue, and it would have been funny to like she's not looking at the camera, she's looking at him. I wonder if that was something that was done in post, like maybe they ADR'd that or something like that. Like maybe it was.
I feel like how were you not going to make that joke? Because he does say it. He's like, "I love you," and then I don't know. Maybe it was post. It had to.
Yeah, how do you not make that joke when you make this movie? But you're right. That needed to be in there. Yeah, I don't know if Tex is back yet. I think he's still stepped away for a minute, so I'll give you my thoughts on the plot. Look, I mean, like I said, all of us want to do something like this. All of us want to like walk onto a movie lot,
have our Death Star,
and see to see where this stuff is. I mean, we were talking about it before we went live, the idea of going, to LA and going to one of these backlot tours and seeing the house where this TV show was filmed, or where this movie was filmed, or where the scene was shot. It's like, who wouldn't want to go? What real fan wouldn't want to go stand in one of these places where the magic happened? You know what I mean? It's, if you like the history of filmmaking at all, or the history of anything at all, you want to go to a place. I went to Wrigley Field many, many years ago to watch the Giants and the Cubs play at Wrigley, and I was telling a friend of mine, I was like, Babe Ruth was standing right there when he called the shot. I was like, that famous moment happened 30 feet from where we're standing right now. Right there. And it's like there's something you feel deep in your bones about that is so wild. And I would love to go back and do that. So maybe I have to venture back down to SoCal. I'm a NorCal guy myself. I'm Bay Area. We don't really NorCal and SoCal don't always mesh very well. But yeah, I think it'd be great to go back down and check that out. But like I said, who wouldn't do this? I mean, this is as I was watching this, like part of it was just like, I bet I could call Jeremy and Rachel right now and be like, we're going to go somewhere and do something crazy movie related.
Right.
We're going to jump in we're going to rent a crazy ugly van. We're going to paint some Star Wars shit on the side. We're going to raid Lucas Valley Ranch. You know, we're going to do it like they wanted to do Area 51 a couple years ago. We're just going to Naruto run across the fence because they can't stop us all, right? But yeah, who wouldn't want to do this? And, you know, now that Texas is back, I mean, I can't tell you. There's got to be a million places that all the horror movies that Texas seen. There's got to be a million places that he'd like to go. Why wouldn't you want to go do something crazy like this? I mean, if you found out that Tobe Hooper had come back to life and was making another sequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, wouldn't you be the run running right to his house, being like, "Can I please just see the first 10 minutes? Show me the first 10 minutes.
Can I be in the movie? Just kill me."
I tell you right now, I wouldn't sneak into Lucasfilm, but you know what? If I ever were to catch where, you know, maybe one Mr. Rob Zombie lives, I might have to go take a gander over the fence, if you know what I'm saying. But, you know, just it is what it is. But yeah, no, that's what's so fun about this. It's a heartfelt, like this movie. It's a heartfelt message of a group of friends that kind of, you know, that grew apart. That's life. That happens. But it's wrapped in a fun wrapper that it's very entertaining, and that's what I like about this. You know, it's like a Ocean's 11 for nerds or something. It's kind of what I compare this to, and I like how they do it. With the only thing I wish they had done, George Lucas should have been in this movie even for like 2 minutes or something. Mm-hmm. George Lucas should. I mean, they did everything else. I mean, I don't know if that's really Lucas Ranch or whatever. I don't know. I've never seen the real place, but I doubt it's the real location. But, you know, it needed George Lucas. But yeah, this is a fun one. It's a, you know, fun buddy comedy about old friends, you know, reuniting and going on a fun road trip. You know, and now, of course, for a sad reason. But, you know, this one's a fun ride to go for. I dig it.
The sadness puts it all in perspective, though. The sadness puts it all in perspective. The sadness puts all this movie in perspective. It's because it's really kind of a one-dimensional film until you throw in the idea about the friend not going to make it to see the movie's release date, and that's just something else. That gives you it's a much higher stake than just like breaking in and stealing the movie, because it's like you're, you know, whatever, you're going to get caught, whatever. But like there's a real stake to this movie that kind of gets lost because you're having so much fun.
The scene where the two friends that grew apart, the one that's dying and then the one that had the car dealership, I can't remember their names, where it's towards the beginning of the film where he goes over to hang out in the garage, and then the one that's sick storms out. He's talking, huh?
I love that scene. I'm like that.
Yeah, like, yeah, he's storming out, you know, where he's talking about where he needs a new car and whatever. I think that's a funny line. But, you know, he's talking, you know, he you know, they're arguing like, did Luke and Leia know that they were brother and sister when they kissed? And they're arguing over the stupidest stuff. And he goes, I care. And then like, he kind of like flicks his shirt, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's a movie. I mean, that's all it's ever going to be. But for so many of us who are movie fans, like, you know, Jeremy with his, you know, stuff, Frank's got us. I mean, we all have our deal, you know. Yeah, I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But if there was a massive event in my real life that I got to deal with, I got to go deal with that first. I can get back to Chainsaw later. But for the ones that maybe don't have a significant other or a whatever, their fandom means so much.
Right hand Leia.
Right, or both. You can go either way. But that's the thing. It's
Go ahead, Tex. Finish your point.
Well, I was going to say, you know, I mean, you talk about toxic fandom earlier, you know, and well, it's just woke, or it's put a chick in it and make her lame and gay. You know, of course, South Park's made a meme out of that, you know, to ridiculous stakes. I understand why people see that viewpoint, and especially like if you watch what's going on with Star Wars now with this whole Acolyte mess, Jesus Christ, that's, oh my God. But I don't blame toxic fandom for being passionate. I put it on the studios for creating it and pushing it through. Why are you going to blame the paying customer? I don't know. That's a bigger conversation, but that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, they say that a YouTube community is only as strong as its weakest link. Hello, weakest link.
Yeah. Hey.
God damn it.
Frank comes back and Casey comes back.
Lions too.
It's your brother.
Yeah.
He thinks we're over here like just stealing our subs, or we're buying subs. Like these are not the subs you're looking for.
Hey,
putting in work.
Yeah. Now I do have to say, since Casey was brought up, Frank, Casey did accuse you of buying your subs.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I see. Hey, accuse me whatever you want. Honestly, that's one of the reasons why I'm just never going to apply for monetization through YouTube. Is I don't want to give them any reason to look at me and be like, nope. I have not forgotten what he did at Night Watch's channel. I have not forgotten that at all.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm just not going to apply for monetization. I don't want to go through what he went through. I was never going to make a living doing YouTube anyway, so I mean, I'll just stick to Stream Elements. If people want to throw me some money, they can. Great. If not, whatever. I'm just here talking movies with my friends.
I'd rather be funded by the people who actually just want to see me.
Yeah, I don't need YouTube money.
I'm like, I can't. No.
Besides that, we're already monetized on Rumble, believe it or not.
Oh, nice. Hey, there's a bun.
Now we've not made a whole lot of money. I think it's like a total of like 17 cents. We've made.
Look, I just did magic. I'm a rabbit. Look at that shit.
I love it.
But let me ask you guys this. One of the things that is great about these really big franchises is the fan service. Obviously, Avengers Endgame was a ton of fan service. This movie was, I thought, the perfect kind of fan service. Tex, you've seen all the Star Wars movies. You've grown up watching most of them the same way we have. Was this kind of the perfect display of fan service, or was it too much, too little? I mean, because like I said, I liked Avengers Endgame. I love the fan service. I think it's what it needed to be because that was the culmination of, at that point, 20-something films in 12 years. It was a perfect level of fan service. This, I thought, was a better level of fan service. What do you think of the way that they portrayed all that in the movie?
I thought they were spot on. Like I said earlier, I can like one of the few or one of the more memorable moments in movies for me was going to see Phantom Menace, because I can remember Force Fridays when like the first Star Wars merch was coming out for this movie, and all of the magazine covers and the anticipation, everything that built up to that film, because we had not had Star Wars since. Oh my God! See, when I still have my Darth Maul cup topper with the Darth Maul cup that came from that, I still have that in storage. I need to dig it out, but the fan service in this movie was great. The people in the crowd wearing the costumes and the lightsabers.
That's accurate.
That was at my theater. Now, of course, not to this level with the budget and the production behind it. They amped it up there. But I thought the fan service was perfect in this film. All the stupid little nerd conversations, oh, well, Luke knew that was his sister, and the back and forth and the yada yadas, and all of the Star Wars fans versus the Trekkies. Oh, well, Trekkies is an outdated term. Now we're Trekkers, just to change up the lingo and the whatever. They nailed the aesthetic of what it feels like to be deep in fandom. And this, fan service can go really bad. Sometimes they don't do enough of it. I think they were spot on with this because, I mean, Star Wars is probably the most passionate fan base, I would say, out of any. I mean, yeah, you can argue Batman or Marvel or whatever you want to do. I think Star Wars has them all beat because, I mean, hell, it's been bigger than most of those things. But yeah, I think they were just spot on with it. I dig it.
Yeah, Jeremy, of the three of us, of all the people that are on this channel on a regular basis, you know fandom probably better than all of us. You are going to cons all the time, into the cosplay. So, I mean, to you, this was great fan service, I thought. Did you think it was great fan service?
Yeah, there's I have a little clip somewhere of like Dan Fogler at the end of the movie when he's running up the line to get to them. He's just like looking at everybody's costumes. He's like, yes, oh yes, dude, that's awesome. I'm like, that right there, that is me at every con. I'm like looking at every person in their con, like that's cool, oh that's awesome, that's sweet. I'm like, that's legit, that's no joke. yeah, it nails it on the head pretty well. Because something like you said as big as Star Wars, and that's the whole heart of this movie. Is that like that's why all these guys have been friends. That's something that stayed with them throughout their childhood, throughout them going into their early adults, even when they drifted apart. It's like when they all come together at the end of the movie, like we were talking about, like Tex was kind of saying when they're in the hospital, and he's saying like, they're kind of just trying to come to reality, like look, man, you're dying. It's like it's just a movie. And then I love that his friend finally has that character arc where he's like, yeah, to some people Star Wars is just a movie, but like not to us. Like, did anyone ever try to put a bucket on their head trying to be Darth Vader? Did you ever like singe your eyebrows trying to make a lightsaber? They're like all this dumb stuff they've probably done. They're like, no, and again, this is our Death Star, so we're not backing away from this.
Yeah, the fan service of this I thought was perfect. I mean, like I said earlier, it's the perfect. It's the perfect representation of what it's like to be a great fan of something great, to be a positive fan of something great. I miss the days of being able to let go. I think honestly, the last time I remember going to see a big franchise movie where people were this into it was probably the first Matrix sequel, like Matrix 2. I mean, that's the last one that I've gone. That's the last movie I got. Because like even the MCU stuff, it's like nobody around here anyway. Nobody goes there dressed like Iron Man. I mean, you'll see somebody wearing like an Iron Man shirt or like a Captain America shirt or something like that, or some Avengers jacket or something. But nobody dresses up like a character to go to the movies anymore.
Well, you can't because some dickhead in fucking Colorado decided to shoot the theater up. And
but even before that, though, it seems like it was starting to tail off. Like people weren't putting this much effort into being a fan of something. And there's been a lot of other franchises. It's like, I'll use another Harrison Ford one, Indiana Jones. It was like, you would see some people wearing like a jacket and a hat, but it's like, how many people were walking out with like the whip and like, the 6-shooter in the holster, albeit fake, and really decking themselves out to go like as Harrison Ford's character.
I think if people start walking into movie theaters with whips, they're probably not getting too far.
Let you in.
I mean, now, I can remember, like, once again, going to the prequels at that point in time, you would see, like, somebody carrying a lightsaber or wearing, like, one of those, like, face-only Darth Vader Boba Fett mask or, like, a clone or, like, a stormtrooper or whatever. But, could you imagine sitting there with an entire stormtrooper outfit in a tiny little movie seat at that time? Jesus Christ, that's got to be uncomfortable as hell. Just saying, like, that's kind of a shock. I mean,
he said it right in the beginning. Like as soon as he comes in, he's like, "Guys, I'm so sorry. My cod piece is killing me."
I mean, you're basically sitting in Tupperware. Like, good luck for 2.5 hours. That's gonna, you're gonna hate it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, trust me, cosplay is not exactly the most glorious thing sometimes because, like, you do have to think about like functionality. I mean, it's got to look cool. It's got to look, but. Trust me, I was just talking about that with someone today. I'm like, you wear armor, you might have a bad time because there is hundreds of people in there all together, and you're going to get sweaty. You're walking around. Like, I wore the 1993, like, head to toe, my best version, I guess, of the Doom armor. And I had, like, a big, puffy, like, goofy muscle shirt on, so I looked like I was, like, 3 times bigger. And holy Jesus, was I sweating. And it was awful. I had to, like, stop a few times, but suffer for the art. I mean, I understand that aspect, being an actor. But.
Well, that's the thing is they're not suffering for the art. They're suffering for the love. It's a different thing.
But I still do it. Right?
You're not suffering because somebody's paying you to wear this thing. Like we talk about actors all the time doing the extreme makeup. 7 hours in a chair before they shoot a couple hours of the scenes and going through all this physical stuff. But it's like these people aren't getting paid for it. These people will go through all that, and they will put themselves in costumes the way like that you and Rachel do when you go to these cons. And they don't do it because they're getting paid. They're doing it because there is an outward showing of affection that they want to send out into the world about this thing. That's why I think it's even more powerful. That's the great positive stuff about fandom. Is that these people are doing this not because they're getting paid, not because they're getting anything for it. It's because I want to profess my love in this auditorium full of people who love things the way that I love these things. I'm going to be a part of doing this. So they're suffering for the love, not for the art.
It's two
all three of us.
What?
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Dick.
Like two of the places I've things that I've gone to event wise, like going to cons or going to like a festival weekend of like 3 days of just like, rock bands and stuff. Like it's weird that like I said, when we were talking about They Live, I'm like, you could have people from all different backgrounds, different places all over the country that they all come to, do this thing that they're all passionate about. And I'm like, the thing that's connecting all of us right now is like, we're all here to listen to this music. We're all here because we're into the same thing. We're all here to like express it. Like, oh yeah, I see. Although now I'm starting to get confused at cons because I'm like, half of it's mostly just anime. And I'm like, I don't know who you're supposed to be, but like you killed it. I mean, I'm not going to say, I'm like, no, you killed it. It's whatever you did it really well. Half of them, like, I don't even recognize anymore because they're mostly cosplays or they're just furries. But I mean, I got to give furries credit. I mean, I don't say what you want. You hate them, love them. But I'm like, furries are also very dedicated to that craft. And I commend them for doing that because I would not be able to wear one of those. It'd be really uncomfortable. But that's what I'm saying. Is like I made a friend going to Comic-Con dressed up as Eddie Munson. I didn't see anyone else there dressed up. I mean, even as what I was going as, but I saw one kid standing there as Dustin. And I was like, I just yelled out like I knew him. Like, I was like, Dusty! And he's like, Eddie! He turned around and I talked to this kid for like 3 or 4 hours and we still talk to this day. Like,
Well, that's what's so cool about fandom is, I mean, hell, all three of us, where we sit right now, we can look around this, whatever room you may be in, and see the money that we've paid for plastic toys or, posters or some sort of merchandise that's sitting in our room. Hell, the flag that's on my wall behind me. I mean, there's all kinds of things we have spent our hard-earned money on, not because we love that thing so much. It can be maybe the time period that it represents. Like I've got my figure shelf under my television over here, and I can look at each figure over there, and it represents a specific memory and time. I can remember who I was with, where we saw the movie at. I can remember all of these things. It's that memento of holding on to a piece of the past, not living in it, but just as you glance by, oh yeah, that was a fun time. And to me, that's my favorite thing about fandom is, yeah, I mean, we can argue, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? Who's the best Sith? Who's the best? Right, we can argue all that. Right. Well, yeah, I mean, we could start that, and 20 minutes in, we'd be screaming at one another. I'm sure it'd be an awesome conversation to have. But that's what's so cool about the fandom is the conversations, the time with friends that comes with it. I can remember going to Taco Bell and getting the Darth Maul cup, or I got the Jar Jar Binks and the Boss Nass cup, or whatever it was. The toys. Dude, I can remember going to Toys R Us and seeing a walls full of Star Wars figures. I'll never forget that as long as I live. And you'll never see it again.
Go to places and see walls full of Star Wars figures.
Yeah, but have you seen the new Star Wars toys? They suck. Go back and buy the old ones. Those are way better.
Oh, no. I was going to say, that's, dude, again, like I said, this movie is, again, like, really the biggest, like, comparison, again, to my group of friends that I grew up with. I remember going to each other's houses, and we beat the absolute crap out of each other with those plastic lightsabers. And those lightsabers were no joke. I've gone to the toy section now. I'm like, either I got old or something happened. But I'd take one. I'm like, this is flimsy as shit. This would not last one fight. Like
now they're basically cool noodles. They made the ones back in the day, like the hard plastic and shit. Like if you hit somebody hard with one of those, it didn't hurt.
Like you have no idea. It took a beating. Mine was green. I lost most of the color out of it because the plastic got hit so many times. I had so many like white streaks and bends in it, but it was solid. The only reason it broke is because the handle, like the two pieces of molding, like it kind of cracked, or not cracked, but came apart where it's supposed to be together, and I just kind of duct taped a few times. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm gonna keep fighting with this thing. Like
I got in trouble at school because I had the Darth Maul saber from this movie, like and it was one of those ones where you had like to pull where you had to like pull the blade out of the end of the saber or whatever. And it barely, like the handle barely fit in my backpack that I had. And somebody had brought one of those. I don't remember. I don't remember what, like they had one of the green ones and blue ones. I don't remember. And we were doing like the lightsaber fighting and shit. And somehow it got out of hand and the lightsaber part flew off and I hit the kid with the actual end of the handle and like actually like hurt the kid. But you know,
Those lightsabers drew
it was
blood.
fun. Right. It was, you know, yeah.
I was jealous of my cousin. He had the Count Dooku one with the curved handle that was like
with the curved handle, yeah.
It was like 6 inches longer, like than the normal ones that I had. I got like the little one. I was getting my ass kicked because he had like a longer saber blade to whack me with, and I was like, well, he's so cool. I can't beat that. Like that was around the time Episode 2 came out. Damn it.
Yeah, AJ's.
I miss when Star Wars was good. I know this is a different conversation we're not going to have right now,
Star Wars,
but I miss when Star Wars was good. I really do. I hate this new crap, but whatever. I know I'm an old man yelling at clouds, but you know, whatever. It's fine.
It's been diluted. Right? That was one of my biggest fears. Like when they came out with Mandalorian, they were like, okay, we're doing this show and that show and Obi-Wan. I was like, we went from having a new Star Wars property every 15 years to suddenly we've got 5 different movies or TV shows coming out this year. And I'm like, don't dilute the brand. That's one of the things that happened to Marvel is when Chapek took over, he's like, Marvel makes a lot of money. Let's just make everything Marvel. We're going to have 20 Marvel properties a year. And I'm like, no, you're diluting the brand. And that's exactly what I think they've done with Star Wars. For one, Kathleen Kennedy, the whole make her chick, make her gay. She's trying way too hard to hit some DEI bullshit. And for 2, you're just spreading it too thin. You got to tell one story at a time. You know, go. It's like the Acolytes. I've only seen the first 2 episodes of the Acolyte. It's not bad. I haven't seen the 3rd one yet.
Wait till you see episode 3.
I know. I've already heard some things, but I mean, whatever.
Dude,
I haven't even gone there yet.
After I saw the reactions to it, oh my God! If you ever want to see a women's yoga class over 40 all doing a group routine, watch that episode. It's great. It's great.
But it's like they've done some good things. Obi-Wan didn't blow me away. I really wanted that to be great. It didn't blow me away, but it was still pretty good.
That wasn't even about Obi-Wan. It was about the black chick.
By and large, The Mandalorian has been good. Boba Fett was a bit of a disappointment. But I mean,
Mandalorian was good until Jack Black and What's-Her-Face came in and ruined it.
That episode was terrible. They didn't ruin the entire series. Yeah. That episode was 100% terrible. It's you can't dilute the brand like that. You have to pay attention because I don't mind them telling stories from outside the Skywalker family, outside the episodic stuff, but it's like you got to take your time and tell these things. They look how much focus they put on the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian. That shit's great, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we got 27 more shows now, and then you start spreading out your creative juices. It gets a little thin, and you start to have these spots where it just doesn't work. So that's the way that's going to happen when you start diluting your brand. But let's talk now. I mean, look, it's been out there for a while. The possibility of a potential sequel. I don't know. I'll go to you first, Tex. Now, there's been some talk about it a lot over the years, and I think that they obviously, as far as I've read, the actors want to do a sequel. They are all for it. And certainly the people who could make the money off of it, if they kept the budget down, this movie probably wouldn't cost a lot to make, maybe a couple $5 million at most. It would probably do pretty well financially, but I'll start with you, Tex. Do you think there's a possibility for a sequel here? I think there is, and I'll tell you what I would do with it in a minute. But I mean, what would you do with it, Tex?
Well, the problem with this getting a sequel is it depends on there being a demand for Star Wars. And if you look at social media, Twitter, YouTube, anything right now, the only reason people are talking Star Wars is to crap on it because of what Disney has done. So if you're going to make a Fanboys 2 or Fanboys Return of the whatever, you have to play into, I'm an original trilogy guy. I'm a prequel guy. Disney Star Wars is blah, 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 whatever. That is the only inroad to making a sequel. Now, basically, you're basically going to be making a movie about what Twitter is or X is right now from people, going back and forth. And other than that, I don't really see a way for it. Would Disney even allow a sequel to be made? Like, that's what would be my biggest question. You know what I mean?
I think they probably would. Now, remember, here's the deal about this particular movie. I forgot I had this picture up. Here's the deal about this particular movie. When this movie was made, Lucasfilm was still owned by Lucas. And he has been notoriously anal about who can use his product, especially the Star Wars stuff. He is notoriously picky about that. But they sent him a script to the movie, and he liked it. He thought it was a really great idea. Not only that, but in that scene where they get into into the ranch and they get into that prop room, many of those props were actual props from Star Wars and from Indiana Jones and various films that Lucasfilm had done.
Really?
Lucas lent those props out to them to use in the movie, like Indiana Jones's hat and whip. Were actually
it's not George Lucas anymore, though. It's Kathleen Kennedy ruining everything.
But here's my point, though: is while George Lucas allowed this and was extremely protective, all Disney is going to say is, "Pay me $1 million and you can use this shit," or you can use, or even if they can't use the
you got to get
which to be absolutely honest, the props may not belong to Disney. Lucas may still have those props, so if he owns that shit, he can just be like, "Here, you can use this shit again if you want." But I mean, Disney is just going to say, "Just don't make us look bad. Don't make us look stupid. Don't shit on our brand." And you can do whatever you want.
They're good enough at doing that themselves. They don't need anybody else to ruin their name.
Yeah, they got Kathleen Kennedy shit on everything, but yeah, as long as they're not shitting on the brand, Disney's going to be like whatever. Because if you think about it, Disney is just going to look at this and say, "This is just advertisement for our product." They're basically making a commercial for us, a 2-hour-long commercial for us. Technically speaking, all the video gaming and stuff the guys like Jeremy do on YouTube, technically speaking, that's illegal. The reason why video game companies don't come down on it is because when you
hang on a minute,
they need money then.
Yeah, technically speaking, basically the way the video game companies see it is when you got Ninja and all these other big streamers out there playing your game, it's free advertising for their product. That's why they don't bitch about it.
Fortnite's a free game, but semantics, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So all these guys that are making money off this stuff, let's say Jeremy does streams 3 or 4 times a week and makes $100 a month or whatever streaming, they're not gonna bother going after him for that kind of small amount of change anyway. Bigger streamers, whatever. But it's like the way they see it. They're just. I
don't think a sequel would be good though.
I'll stay away from the Nintendo games.
I don't think a sequel would. I don't know. I think this is another one of those movies. It's like I said. The reason why this movie was so special was because it's about the time period of anticipation of lack of Star Wars where everybody was craving it. Well, let's say you made it about current day Star Wars where we've got 15 shows nobody cares about. They're talking about doing a Rey trilogy, which I guess they like burning money because nobody's going to pay to see that crap. The fandom, I don't think a sequel concept is needed because I think this is one of those. It belongs to the time that it came from. We don't need to mess with it. I really, truly believe that.
Well, Jeremy, what do you think? Sequel, possible, good idea? What do you think?
I think if we were going to do this, I think I don't quite share the same sentiment I said about They Live, where I'm like, it doesn't need it, because I don't need this movie being lessened by something like that. But with this, I'm like, I really don't have any pointers for it other than what we were just talking about. I'm like, it's the anticipation of there being just a dry spell of like 15 years of just no Star Wars. Like we just had at this point for this movie, all there was the original trilogy, right? And then they're all hyped up like, oh crap, episode 1's coming out. Like, holy crap. I think this needs to be set in like 2014, right before episode 7 comes out. Cause that still kind of got that hype. That's before where we're at now. I'm like, I don't want us looking at what we have now. I'm like, that's still kind of a time where I'm like, I was even a little bit excited. I was a little skeptical and less optimistic because I'm like, well, we can still throw the Indiana Jones joke in there. We can throw in the like, Harrison Ford's the greatest actor. He never made a bad movie. And he's gonna be like, well, what about the one with the aliens? We can throw jokes in there. And I'm like, if you set this before where there's like kind of a cautious optimism about it, where I'm like, I don't know if we really need more Star Wars. Maybe it can be about episode 7. Like that's the only way I could see this happening because it was still not as diluted as it was now. And it was still, you can throw in the internet stuff in there where it's like, like we said, everyone's more connected and more vocal about their fandoms. But that's kind of the only way I see it. I'm like, look, I don't know. Then what's your plot going to be? I'm like, the point was that their friend was dying of cancer, and then in the end, he ultimately passed away.
Right.
And they sold the movie in his honor. I'm like, and again, one more zinger, and then at the end, like, guys, what if the movie's really bad? Like, how do you top that?
What if the movie sucks was the perfect line to end this movie on.
Yeah.
That was just genius writing. That was perfect.
Now they had hindsight to work with because obviously all three of them.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So they had hindsight to work with.
Of course, they had hindsight. Seth Rogen's got Kid Anakin and Jar Jar tattooed on his back because they're going to be the biggest thing, man. So of course they're playing with rose-colored glasses.
I think what Tex just said in the comments, I'm like, I just saw something right before we went live that was like someone looked at the back of the DVD cover of Revenge of the Sith.
Yep.
And like
I saw that.
It says like
completes the story of Star Wars.
Yeah. I'm like, oh god.
Yes. Hey,
we didn't have
Star Wars only has 6 films. The rest are horrible fan fiction written by communist lefties. Disney Star Wars does not count. Even the good parts of Mandalorian, I'm willing to sacrifice if it throws out the rest of the garbage. So sorry, Mando, but 6 films, nothing else.
I liked Mando. It was still kind of what I wanted out of Star Wars. I didn't mind Solo. Y'all can bite me. I love that movie.
It ended up not being bad considering the chaos that was the production of that movie. I mean, it still wasn't the movie that I needed. It doesn't do much to accentuate the universe, but whatever. But
Ray Park back is like an old Darth Maul. Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't even.
Yeah, for like 2 seconds. It's the only good part about it.
I thought the prospect of like, oh, we're doing like Crimson Dawn shit. Like, are we getting Ray Park again? Like, holy crap, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
And then no, but oh well.
But for me, Jeremy pointed out one thing, the way that I would do it. Why not go back to when Episode 7 was about to come out, and we're getting ready to do Force Awakens?
I think that's your sequel right there.
I think that's the sequel right there. Or we could put it in today's time and not just do the fan service stuff, but I mean, make fun of this fandom, make fun of cons, make fun of all this. I mean, obviously you're not going to be able to do the whole someone's going to die, so we have to go steal the movie thing again. That would be kind of half-assed, and it wouldn't hit the same. You just be the same old shit.
Friend, it doesn't really hit the same.
Yeah, but yeah, make fun of fandom, spoof yourself. That's never a bad way to go if you have fun with it. Spoof yourself. Maybe we'll see that these guys have all kind of grown apart over the years, and something happens. I don't know. Maybe you know what? Make fun of the sale of Lucasfilm to Disney. Go back to before then.
That's a point you can make fun of. Like I said,
yeah, have that be the crux that like they all come together and they're because now the corporation is going to own Star Wars, which was already owned by a corporation anyway. But make that. I mean, look, there's lots of different things you could do. I mean, look, I think it'd be interesting to see Dan Fogler in his, now in his 40s now or something like that.
Or something.
I think maybe what's his name? Sam Huntington's character took over his dad's car dealerships anyway, and now all the money that he makes selling cars, even better.
Right.
They make their own Star Wars movie. There's plenty of people out there that are making their own Star Wars fan films. Maybe they get the idea, like, you know what? You say here, okay. I'm bringing it together here. Pay attention, Kathleen Kennedy. Don't make him a chicken. Don't make her
don't even give her the bone.
Sam Huntington's character decides that the last couple of movies have sucked. That Star Wars is going to hell, and he's like, you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna get my crew together, and we're gonna make a fucking Star Wars movie. We're gonna do a fan fiction one. We're gonna write our own shit. We're gonna make this movie, and then somehow at the end of the movie,
didn't they kind of already do that in Clerks 3 though? Like
I was thinking like Be Kind Rewind, where they just make all the fucking movies again. Like I thought it was something like that. That's what I was thinking.
Well, but not because they accidentally deleted all the movies or destroyed all the tapes, but I mean, but because they're like, Lucasfilm has lost its way. We're going to make this movie now because we are the real fans. We are in touch with what Star Wars is, more so than the corporate dickheads that work in LA at Lucasfilm. We're going to make a fan movie. We're going to do it in honor of our friend.
Dedicated to the friend,
we're going to. Windows is going to be Vader, and then whatever. It's going to be something crazy, stupid like that. And then the whole journey is them making the movie. And then at the end of the movie, instead of seeing the movie finally the first time, it's like maybe somebody from Lucasfilm, they can hire somebody to pretend to be Kathleen Kennedy or something like that, or maybe Bob Iger. I bet you Bob Iger would do a cameo. Pull up and says, "Hey, you know what? I actually kind of like this movie. I'm going to buy it.
Well,
and we're going to turn it into another."
I was thinking like you could have Kevin Smith in there still, like having kind of appreciating that, like, ooh, you're making like I'm kind of going the Clerks route, like just make your own movie. Fuck it,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that's you basically just described Clerks 3 right there. So yeah, they could do it, just a Star Wars version.
That was kind of Kevin Smith spoofing himself, though, ultimately. I mean, spoofing his own.
That and Jay and Silent Bob get old. It's just them making fun of just everything. So
yeah.
No, I know. I saw Jay and Silent Bob rebooted or whatever. Don't watch that. That is a horrible movie. Stick with the old Jay and Silent Bob. Skinny Kevin Smith sucks. I know Jeremy probably wants to burn me at the stake right now, but I will go on the record.
We're not going to disrespect our Lord and Savior Kevin Smith on this podcast.
No one calls Kevin Smith a bitch.
Hey,
calls Kevin Smith a bitch. Yes. New merch idea. That's from my
Fat Kevin Smith. Awesome.
Like no one calls him a bitch.
Skinny Kevin Smith can jump in the lake. That's all I'm saying. So.
He almost died, man. That'll do shit to you.
I don't care. Hey, he almost died and sold his soul to the woke mob. He cries over everything. Kevin Smith. Yeah, I will fight Kevin Smith. I will fight him.
Oh my God, I'll fight you right now. I am so glad he's still alive, and I got to meet that man. I'm like someone that like. The reason me and Frank are even friends is because we talked about Clerks and Clerks 2. Started talking about movies. I'm like,
oh yeah,
it's because of Kevin Smith, and I'm like, I got to meet this man who I love to death. And Jay,
I'm not saying he hasn't contributed. Mallrats is a tremendous movie. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is amazing. The first 2 Clerks are great. Once he went woke, ruined his career. That's all I'm saying.
Wait, in this sequel movie, do you want a cameo from Mark Hamill? Wouldn't that be kind of funny?
No.
Not really.
Mark Hamill's too busy blowing Joe Biden. I need nothing from him anymore. Once he said Obi-Wan Kenobi, I was done. He turned to the dark side. No, I'm done.
You should have seen the comments on this. Good. Everyone was like just tearing him apart. Like,
yeah.
Dude. I'm like, look, I love Luke Skywalker. I love the Joker. I love your character work. But I'm like,
Mark Hamill is not a movie star. He's done Luke Skywalker and Joker. He's done nothing since. Harrison Ford is a real movie star. I will say that too. So, just saying.
That's a debate for a different time. Let's get into some trivia now, though, because I had to find a picture of the
fights they were having in the movie. We just had that right there.
We're just having it right here. Who cares about this stuff? We care.
I was like, I need a thing of just like a big picture of Kevin Smith. Like, I care. Look. Should have got my movies T-shirt and put that on. Damn it, I still have it somewhere.
Or your poopshoot.com. That one too?
Listen here, pickle fucker. I'll come over there.
The passenger side door of Hutch's van has the word fanboys written on it in the Star Wars Arabesh alphabet and mirrored. So that's what that little weird print right there in the door means. It means fanboys.
I love that van so much. Like, there are just iconic movie cars that I want, and this is one of them. I love this.
Oh, yeah.
I would 100%.
I want one of those 80s style vans looking like it's from the 80s. I've always wanted one of those. Like, you know, van? With the, something multicolored. The entire thing is shag carpet on the inside with, LED strips. I need one of those before I die. Like, that will probably be my midlife crisis car. So if I ever get one of those, I'm having a hard time. So
you better come pick up probably the go do some wild shit. Like,
hey, I'll come pick y'all up and we'll drive over to steal some movie thing or whatever. We'll just recreate this. It'll be fun.
Rob Zombie's got to have a project in some form of development. We'll go around.
That's what I'm saying. I'm down. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure something out. It'll be cool.
Let's go back to the van for a minute. You guys probably heard this when it happened. The sound effect made by the van during the hyper jump scene is the same as R2-D2's fast sound effect. I caught that. I honestly, as many times as I've seen this movie, I'm always going to giggle when that part happens.
I mean, I think even when the van turns on, he smacks it like he does in Empire Strikes Back. It's the same sound as the Falcon. Like I said, I would love to have one of these old vans. Wire it up with some lights, put some shit on the walls, take a few seats down, and just have it.
That'd be great, dude.
Yeah, this movie is full of a bunch of little things, and it's like you have to pay really close attention. Not this movie, but another one, the one that Simon Pegg and Nick Frost did about the alien. I forget the name of it. Where Seth Rogen.
Paul.
Paul, that was it. Paul. When they go into the country bar in that movie, did you ever listen to the song they're playing?
No.
It's a country version of the song that's playing in the cantina in Star Wars.
Is it the cantina? Yeah. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, it's a country version of that. There's no singing. They're just playing the same general.
I've still never seen that movie. I know y'all talked about that whenever we reviewed. Was it Hot Fuzz or what was the other Simon segment?
Probably.
It's probably what I think that was when y'all brought it up. But yeah, I haven't got to that one yet. I need to watch that one.
AJ Raider coming with some strong 80s throwback cars. 77 or 80s Trans Am
77 or
Bandit 1 or 2.
Yeah. Hey, I got to see the Bandit car, one of the real ones, at I want to say it was the Dallas Auto Show or something. It was one of them because Burt Reynolds had owned multiple ones throughout the years. It was one of the ones from his collection, so it was pretty sweet. It was if we're buying, I don't know, if we're going movie cars, I'm buying General Lee before I buy anything, but I'm impartial. So.
Here, I'll give you a quick movie suggestion, real quick. If you want to see one of the Bandit cars, watch The Goods with Jeremy Piven. Have you ever seen that movie, Jay? Jay may have. I don't know if Jack's seen it or not. It's I think it's on Tubi, so you can watch it free. Basically, he's like this traveling car salesman that goes around to different car lots to help them sell their cars. And he goes to the one.
I have seen that. Yeah,
James Brolin owns it. He got one of the film used, supposedly one of the film used Bandit cars as like as something to draw people onto the lot, and it becomes kind of a piece towards the end of the movie. So yeah, it's I sell cars, motherfucker. I want to have one of those business cards. That's a great movie. Jeremy, if you haven't seen that, you gotta watch it. It's on Tubi. Dude, the cameo scene from Will Ferrell is one of the that is Will Ferrell at peak Will Ferrell. That is one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen Will Ferrell ever do. I've seen just about everything Will Ferrell's done. Peak Will Ferrell, that cameo scene that he has in it, especially at the end when he's talking to Jeremy Piven. When Jeremy Piven's in the junkyard, you'll see when you get there. Great movie, really funny movie. But let's see. There was actually an animated prequel to this movie that was shown exclusively through Comcast Video on Demand and revealed the origins of the group's mutual animosity towards Star Trek fans. As a prank, the group of friends interfered with their local theater's premiere of Star Trek First Contact. Sadly, the animation is not included on any home video releases. I'm not sure if this would even be on YouTube anywhere. I'm tempted to look for it.
I've never seen that.
I think it'd be fun to watch.
It's got to be out there somewhere. It's the internet. Everything exists if you look in the right place.
Hey, no matter how hard George Lucas tried, the holiday special still lives on.
It's on YouTube. I've got it saved on YouTube.
I appreciate that moment where he's like, what's Chewbacca's home planet? I'm like, oh god, you had to have seen that. Like, that's a true. You sat through it, and you
know what? I thought to myself at that point in time, that would have been a tough question unless you were deep into Star Trek.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, that's why I know that's deep.
You would have been reading the books and stuff.
Universe shit. Read the books, expanded universe.
Exactly.
You weren't reading that.
That's why he's like, he's like, that's never discussed in the movies. I'm like, oh my god, you're right. It hasn't at that point. Oh shit. And I'm like, I know why he's got to know what the answer is. I'm like, oh no. That's why I'm with.
I didn't know.
Say it.
I didn't know what his planet was called. I didn't. I mean, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I had no idea. The only thing I knew about his home planet was in episode 3. They have a battle there, and Yoda is fighting with the Wookiees. That's about all I knew about his home planet. That's all that I knew. I didn't know what it was called though.
That's the problem. Is I was so steeped in like all the extended universe stuff, and I'm like, I watched these movies so much. I was so into Star Wars. I knew every damn planet by name. I knew what it's I could tell you like what biome it had, all the stuff, who lived there, what it was, and I'm like, probably around the time of maybe not Rogue One, but like when the sequels started coming out, and I'm like, oh god, I got a whole lot of new shit to learn, and then I just stopped caring.
Well, that was right around the time Disney wiped out the extended universe, and then cherry picked, and then they cherry picked it and made it their own thing because they're creative, So whatever.
Well, they want to kill the entire extended universe and then take credit for it when it's something that's cool that works, like
of course,
survived. I'm like, no, you don't get to take credit for that and act like just because you put it on film. We made that. I'm like, no, you took that from the extended universe that you said was no longer canon. and then tried to make this cool
Right.
story out of it. No, you ruined it. Like,
Hey.
we all knew he lived.
Anytime that we want to shit on Disney Star Wars on the internet, you let me know and I will be there, buddy. I
For the
will make sure.
Time,
I will be as toxic as I can possibly be. You just let me know.
I still never
So
wanted
good.
to accept that Darth Maul was still alive, and I'm like, all right, I'll give Clone Wars a chance, and I'm like, okay, you know what? That was pretty
Hey,
damn cool, and I'm not mad.
Clone Wars was pretty good.
It was.
I didn't see season 7 that they put out on Disney Plus. I haven't seen that yet. But the first 6 seasons was not bad. It's decent. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I ain't mad.
Now, Harry Knowles actually has sort of an appearance in this. Originally, George Garcia was attached to play Harry Knowles, but scheduling conflicts with Lost caused him to turn down the role. Then Kevin Smith stepped in and was reportedly very enthusiastic, but last-minute editing for Clerks 2 forced him to step down. Instead, he settled for the cameo.
Oh, man.
Hey, yeah, I'm cool with that.
I think it worked out with Ethan Suplee. Ethan Suplee, he strikes an interesting form on camera. I've always liked him.
Mm-hmm.
Even a picture of that guy, you could take a picture of that dude, put it on a necklace. That's the best pussy repellent I've ever seen in my life. Jesus Christ, there is nothing appealing about that motherfucker whatsoever. Good
There's not a
Lord.
whole lot appealing about Harry Knowles to begin with. But
I mean, knowing what we know now, I guess, but okay.
well, yeah.
I'm like, yeah,
we'll get to it in a minute. One of the reasons why a sequel's been derailed to this movie has been derailed so bad is because of
oh god,
3 of the producers of the credited producers for the show. We'll get into that in just a second too.
that's true.
But,
I forgot who actually made this. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I already put that out of my mind. I'm like, oh crap, I forgot who made this movie. Damn it.
Yeah, you guys may not know. I don't have a good picture of Kristen Bell, unfortunately. But Kristen Bell, Tech said earlier, used a body double for the pressed ham scene. That was actually not her ad. You know how I knew that already? I actually have Fanboys on DVD, and I've watched the commentary on it a couple of times. And she had said in the commentary that she was too. At the time, she was still kind of young and didn't want to put her ass out on camera, so they actually had a stunt woman do it.
Shameful. Half star deduction for not doing your own nudity. I have to duck it a half star. That's the rules. I have to. Sorry.
Let's see. The security guards at Lucas Ranch in the security are wearing the security uniforms from THX 1138, one of George Lucas's earliest directorial efforts.
Oh shit!
Considering that man right there is the reason why we got Halloween Ends, I will never forget him. I hate that person. You know what?
I watched The Righteous Gemstones on HBO. You will love him again.
The Righteous Gemstones could be tremendous, but him and David Gordon Green are the two. Well, David Gordon Green, and Jason Blum are the 3-headed devil that ruined Michael Myers. So I will never forgive that person.
I don't know. They were okay. It is kind of weird that he wanted to go from doing mostly comedy into horror, but I mean, whatever.
It was a little weird.
He's made more movies than I have. Eastbound and Down, classic. I've been watching little episodes of that here and there. Righteous Gemstones, I think, is one of the funniest TV shows that's been made in the last 20 years. That show is so damn funny. But let's see. Danny Trejo, who plays the Chief.
Yes.
So many years later, go on to appear on Disney Plus's show, The Book of Boba Fett.
That's true. He is in Star Wars, man.
There is a weird symmetry about that. Now, obviously, the Book of Boba Fett had not been imagined this movie was made because Lucas still owned everything. Oh, yeah. But the fact that he kind of was brought back into the Star Wars universe for Book of Boba Fett.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think all these cameos, I'm like, I feel like these people did it because they all probably also are fans of Star Wars. Because I imagine, I know.
Well, Kevin Smith, obviously. I mean, he's kind of a nerd.
Yeah, like Kevin Smith, Seth Rogen. I'm like, I know all these guys are Star Wars fans, so it's cool to see them all in this movie.
Okay, which Carrie Fisher cameo was better? This one or her cameo in Scream 3, where she plays the woman working within the movie studio and she shits on Carrie Fisher for sleeping with George Lucas to get the Leia role? Which one do y'all think was better?
Funnier was probably the last one, but the better one, I think, is probably this one.
Like, this one was more heartfelt, but I love what she does in Scream 3. Like, that whore Carrie Fisher slept with Lucas just to get the role. And it's just, I like how she's,
See, if you can't
getting
make
on
it
herself.
I mean, yeah.
Right. Oh, it's hilarious. You know, she's all bitter and smoking her cigarette. It's just, I love how she plays that kid. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
That is kind of funny. I do remember
She's a
that
treasure,
scene.
man. She's a treasure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But next piece of trivia, I don't know. I'll go back to the van for this one. You don't get a good view of it on this van. But the license plate on Hutch's van reads Slave 2.
Slave 2.
This is a subtle reference to the ship Slave 1, flown by bounty hunter Boba Fett in Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. I didn't even know.
And then guess what? Disney fucking ruined that too. You're not allowed to call it that.
That's what I was about to say. They renamed it. Yeah.
Now, given, like I said, that this movie takes place in Ohio, and you see that quick shot of like when he pulls the van up to save him from the Trekkies, I'm like, I want that old school Ohio plate that says Slave 2. I'm like, I just want a plate of that because that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. Heading back to Seth Rogen. I thought I had a good picture of Seth Rogen on here. I don't know why.
He's 3 people in this movie. How'd you not get at least one?
You know what? Sometimes I'll save a picture and it won't save the way I want it to. It won't save in the right format.
I think I know what you're saying.
And when I put the pictures on here, I'll just highlight them all to put them on here, and for some reason it won't use certain ones.
I was having that problem
because I know I had a picture of him that I had gotten. I don't know why it's not on here for some reason. But anyway, I'll go back to Danny McBride. Just piss off text. Seth Rogen has stated he's more of a Star Trek fan than a Star Wars fan in real life.
Who was it?
He stated that he is. Oh, I hit the wrong button. He stated that he's more of a Star Trek fan than a Star Wars fan in real life.
Who said that?
Seth Rogen.
Well, I guess that's why 2 out of the 3 people he played were Trekkies, so I guess that kind of makes sense.
It kind of does, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay.
Whatever.
I mean, when you get a scene where you're fighting your own other character as like a pimp and a Star Trek leader, I mean, that's kind of damn funny. Like, you're 2
Danny McBride.
I'm like, that's funny.
Danny McBride is also on the list of celebrities I'm willing to fist fight in public for free. Like, I will fight him. So, just saying.
Okay.
Yeah,
Jeremy's like, fuck this guy.
I've said it on here before. While Star Wars is the superior franchise in every way, I've always liked Star Trek a little bit better. There's just something about
they're too
relatively optimistic. There's something about the relatively optimistic view of the future that they take, potentially what could be, that I've always kind of liked. I like the technology.
I've tried Star Trek. Not interested.
I would 100% take a lightsaber over a phaser any day of the week. I would love to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just overall, I've always liked Star Trek a lot more than Star Wars. But Star Wars is
Star Trek seems very communistic to me, like the Federation. Very communistic.
Oh no! The problem with Star Wars is that it works better in episodic form than it does in movies anymore. Whereas Star Wars, I've always thought, even with things like Mandalorian doing well and stuff, I think you see it works better in the episodic movies. Everybody's always saying that Star Wars needs to get away from telling the Skywalker saga. I'm like, why? The Skywalker saga is what built this entire fucking franchise.
Well, you don't want to keep just doing that till the end of damn time.
And that's fine. You don't want to do just that, but so go do a book of Boba Fett. Go tell these stories. Go follow Lando on a couple of adventures. Whatever.
I would have loved to see Lando.
Why not follow the Skywalker legacy as far out as you can? Now, it doesn't always have to be about Luke. I mean, now we've got Rey. I'm actually kind of into the idea of having a trilogy centered around Rey in an older form, having her be the elder Jedi while the Jedi rebuilds itself. Just on the face of it, that's a good idea.
I guarantee
the only thing that intrigued me about Rey is at the end, I'm like, that that lightsaber she made when she like flipped the switch like that, and I'm like, I saw about 3 or 4 different colors pop up, and then it turned yellow. I was like, wait a minute, how'd you get a yellow saber? I'm like,
calling it right now.
I'm like, I want to see what that was.
Number one, I don't think there will be a Rey movie. I think it'll be one of those things that gets wrote for 5 years, kind of like Blade, and never gets anything done. If there is a Rey Skywalker film that does get produced, this whole Forces female thing, you're going to see an entire Jedi Council full of nothing but women. Well, look at what they did in Acolyte. It will be even worse, I promise you.
I would say that if Kathleen Kennedy sticks around, that's probably pretty close to what will probably happen.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, Acolyte, doesn't that take place in like the old Republic? So I'm like,
that is old Republic, yeah.
It's like supposed to be like 1,000 years before Phantom Menace, I think, or
like,
it's either 1,000 or 100. It's one of the two. I can't remember.
It's like 1,000 years before.
Yeah, look, I'm one of those people that thought Kathleen Kennedy was going to be gone last summer, and she's still here. So I don't know. There's still rumors that she has kind of got one foot out the door, and at this point, like I said, I thought she was to be gone last summer. I thought she was to be gone.
I think when we were talking about Indy 5, you had said that was when she's probably after that Comic-Con was when she would make her exit or whatever. I think that's what Frank had said. But,
yeah, and she's held on for another year because Comic-Con's like a month away, the next Comic-Con. So I don't know, maybe
Kathleen Kennedy can leave now because they now have Leslie Headland, which, by the way, was the personal assistant of one Harvey Weinstein, by the way. Just, if you want some of her back.
That's your segue.
But either way.
Point, right? Do y'all want to take a guess who made this movie?
Yeah. Well, that's actually the next small piece of trivia that I have.
I was like, is it? Oh, God damn it.
There you go.
In the original plot, Linus was battling cancer and wouldn't live long enough to see the new Star Wars movie in its theatrical release, and therefore the friends want to get a copy of it. Harvey Weinstein opposed this version and recut the original, removing all references to cancer. Fans were so enraged about this that they threatened to boycott Superhero Movie in 2008, which was another Weinstein Company project. Linus's cancer was not removed from the final version of the film after all because of the fan backlash. Now, on that note, let me. I had to pull this back up to grab my notes. Now,
Harvey Weinstein's a piece of shit.
Here's what it says about a retrospective. In 2018, Oral History of the Film, members of the cast feeling frustrated over the film's reshoots, as well as the behavior of producer Harvey Weinstein and reshoot director Stephen Brill during filming. Klein and Newman noted several of the raunchier scenes written by Adam Goldberg at Weinstein's request remained in the final cut, including the scene at the gay bar, which Klein found homophobic even by the standards of when the film was released. This was back in 2009 or whatever. Actually, it was filmed in 2006. It didn't get released until 2009. The cast and creatives voiced interest in making a sequel to Fanboys, but Klein noted its attachment to Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, who was a producer, and Harry Knowles, who was a producer, all who had since been accused of improprieties, let's just say, made this unlikely. Klein also expressed interest in a director's cut of the film that reflected his and Newman's original version. In January of 2021, members of the Fanboys cast and crew had an online reunion panel as part of Dan Fogler's Fiction Fest, and director Newman and several of the actors and writers were the ones present for the panel. During the event, cast and creatives once again expressed an interest in making the sequel. This was just 3 years ago. So, I mean, possible. Eventually, maybe it could happen. That's why I'm, honestly, as I look at just the way that the time has passed, that's why part of me thinks that the best way to approach a sequel is you don't have these people involved anymore. Knowles, Spacey, all these guys are gone. Weinstein can hopefully never leave prison again. But, I mean, so why not, make fun of that shit. make all the fun of Weinstein you want to make. But why not, like I said, take it back to when Force Awakens comes out or them being frustrated about Star Wars sucking now, wanting to make their own fan film. I think now is probably a better time than it would have been 10 years ago because
I like the fan film idea better.
I think that is more work now. That's just me, though.
Well, think about it realistically. Yeah. If you just do it based off of, I can't wait for The Force Awakens. It's 6 months, 3 days, 15 hours, and 25 minutes to Force Awakens. You're basically doing the same thing, even if you just freshen up the jokes. But if you were to do the fan film idea and put it in modern day with older versions of these characters, I think that would be more fun. They could say, Star Wars hasn't been good since 1999 or whatever. Blah, blah, blah.
I wouldn't be entirely opposed to them wanting to do another journey across the country to steal the movie thing, but it needs that emotional driver that Linus having cancer gave the movie. And I don't think you could just say, okay, now Dan Fogler's got cancer. You can't just go back to the well on that one because it would look hokey. So you would need some emotional driver. That's why I like the idea of them making like a fan film themselves, because the emotional drive could be the fact that they all think that Star Wars has been shit on by corporate Disney or whatever, and they want to try to make a real Star Wars movie from real Star Wars fans who get the property more than the corporate dickheads at some office in Disney Studios does. That's a better emotional driver than just saying they want them to sick again.
Maybe do like a split deal where you have this group of the fans of Star Wars, right? Then you have a group of like Disney Star Wars fans, and the whole point is maybe it's a fan film competition or something, and that way you can incorporate the different generations of Star Wars fans. So you kind of represent it all. That's not a bad idea. You could play with that and make something good and have it be funny.
Indie Star Wars Film Fest, hosted by Kevin Smith.
Right, there you go. You can have your woke Kevin Smith come in and host the thing, and Jamie's can be blowing guys in the back of the building. I don't care. That's fine. You're gonna do what you need to do. That's not a bad idea. I like that.
I will say, I don't remember where I saw this, but just another connection to Weinstein. Speaking of Kevin Smith, like he recalled like the last time he, I guess, interacted with Harvey Weinstein was he was showing, I don't know if it was Clerks 3, maybe it was like recent, or no, maybe it was before that. He was showing a movie or something, and he's like, Kevin Stanner, he's in the back of the theater. There's like a curtain there, and he's like, I can hear him on the other side. He's like, I can hear Harvey back there saying some shit, and he's saying it really loud. He's like, I pulled the fucking curtain back. At that point, I didn't give a shit. I was like, shut the fuck up, dude. We're showing a fucking movie in here. Like, he was like, and that's the last time I fucking saw him. Like, before all that shit went down, I was like, that's kind of funny. He was just fed up listening to him fucking talk over his movie and kind of like show people. He just told him shut up. That's amazing. It's somewhere. I'll have to find it. It's pretty funny.
Hell yeah.
AJ Reader got jokes. He said we still need a Schumacher cut of Batman Forever on Blu-ray.
No, we don't. No, we don't. We don't know. Schumacher Batman does not exist. We put that in the file with Ghostbuster 2016 and burned it. It never happened. We're doing a mind wipe. That never happened. No.
20% more bat nipples. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you need more bat nipples, AJ? Yeah. No. I will ex-nay that immediately. Get that out of my presence. No, thank you. Schumacher Batman. I will use the line from Mallrats. It's a 90-minute gay joke. Do you need more of that? Just say that. What are you going to do?
Fly, fat man.
Like I said, I don't have a picture of Seth Rogen, but I'll go with this for this one. When Seth Rogen's character Roach shows his tattoos to Windows and Hutch, he shows an image of Star Wars prequels character Jar Jar Binks and says that he's sure he's going to be a big thing in Star Wars fandom, and they'll get a lot of love for sure. This is a wink to what fans actually thought of Jar Jar, since he is one of the most disliked and mocked characters in the Star Wars franchise's history.
Jar Jar Binks, he got screwed. I don't know if y'all know the Darth Jar Jar theory, the whole thing. I don't know what you know or not.
No, shut up. No. If you're not, I'm stopping you right now. Don't even fucking go down that road.
I believe it.
Real.
Darth Jar Jar is real.
No, he's not.
It is not a joke, sir. Darth Jar Jar was supposed to. We will have this podcast one day, and I will prove to you Darth Jar Jar exists. I will.
Yeah, that's why they're making a joke. That's why they're making a joke like movie or show about it out of Lego. That they're like, oh look, it's What If, but with Star Wars. Look who has the Millennium Falcon. It's Darth Jar Jar. I'm like, it's because it's not a goddamn thing. Like,
there is more than enough evidence to convict that he's real. Is all I'm saying. If I were a prosecutor, I'm giving him life in prison. I've got enough evidence. Like I'm telling you right now. We'll do it.
I entertain the notion of it because I've seen the things where people show like, hey, look, why is he mouthing the same words as someone else? I'm like, oh, is he like force manipulating him? I'm like, maybe. I don't. Now, I played a game that's also very much not canon to Star Wars, but I'm like, there was an evil Gungan in that too, and I was like, well, yeah, it's not like they can't be force sensitive, they can't be, evil, but.
I firmly believe
everyone holds on to that little soundbite of George Lucas saying like Jar Jar's the key to all this. I'm like, You have no video, no nothing, just a stupid little soundbite where you're like, that means it's Jar Jar. Like, no, it's not. He could literally be talking about, like, oh, in this scene, he's pivotal to getting rid of all the droids on Naboo.
You wait.
We have no idea where that clip
We need to do a spin-off show from the review to have like movie court. And I will present my case to the judge, Frank or Cora, whoever it is. And I will win in a court of law, sir. I promise you. So, just saying.
See, thank you, AJ. I'm like, you said exactly what I was going to say. It is fake news. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think even Lucas has come out and said, no, that's
I don't think, like I said, I don't think he would have made that character that way and have that much of a, like, be that clever to make it that deep that, like, oh, the whole time he was actually like...
Oh, because he didn't do that with Yoda or anything in the original trilogy, right? Oh,
yeah. Not evil.
Yeah. Well, you can't... Oh, my God.
You already did it with Palpatine. You're like, yeah, this guy's been pulling the strings the whole time.
We are going to... See, this is what makes toxic... this is what makes fandom toxic. Because we start conversations, whether it's Kevin Smith or Jar Jar Binks, this is what causes toxic fandoms right here. We're seeing it in a live experiment. I dig this. I like this.
You can for Jar Jar to have been like the closeted Sith Lord, he would have to be a stronger Jedi than people like Yoda, people like Qui-Gon, Vader.
Yeah,
he would have to be a stronger Jedi than all of them to have helped. Because look, Palpatine, as strong as he had to be very strong to at least pull a clouded veil over Yoda. To say nothing of operating around him and close to him
in front of two Jedi Masters
without Yoda knowing a fucking thing at all.
It's not like this. It's not like the dark side of the Force clouds the judgment and hides them for 1,000 years from the Jedi. It's not like he has the yellow eyes. Unexplainable drunken kung fu master shit. Literally pulling off stuff that you have to be Force sensitive to do. Y'all are going to make me scream, and I'm going to go Alex Jones here in a minute on Darth Jar Jar.
He is just a character for the kids. That's all he was.
You don't have to be
just like Yoda was. Just like Yoda was.
Trip and fall everywhere like he does in that final battle in the first movie.
No, I'm not talking about the tripping and falling.
But they reveal that he's actually.
Go back and watch Phantom Menace. We need to review Phantom Menace, and I will present my case of why Darth Jar Jar is real. Because I firmly believe it. I 1,000% believe
it. Yeah, all right. So tell me about that upcoming Jar Jar movie.
Yeah,
that's right.
Oh, if they made one, I would go see it. I like Jar Jar Binks. All you naysayers crapped all over Phantom Menace and made George Lucas didn't have the balls to. I'm not saying specifically you. Royal you. But
no, I'm saying like
the haters out
that
there.
moment, that door opening, and then there's Darth Maul and that double saber fucking ignited. I was like,
oh my god,
my god,
yes,
that was awesome.
Yes, I love Phantom Menace.
Like cinema history.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that shot where he ditches the robe and the double blade comes up. Oh, it's tremendous. Oh
yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's great.
That was a good moment. Not a great movie overall, but a good moment.
No, but that's I
love Phantom Menace. Second best Star Wars movie ever made, Phantom Menace. Fight me.
Empire. And Empire's up there, yeah.
Empire and
Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith is the best Star Wars movie ever made. I don't care what anybody said.
It's a very, very good one, I will say.
Oh.
That's all the trivia I got, so that seems like a good place to start wrapping things up before we go down some other rabbit hole of us yelling at each other over some kind of stupid fandom shit.
Before I kick in Texas for the fucking life, they were like, what'd you say about Kevin Smith?
Before Jeremy gets in his car and drives out of text and starts throwing hands.
You wear a Kevin Smith t-shirt. I'll wear a t-shirt with Darth Jar Jar on it, and we'll fight.
Right,
It'll be great. It'll be awesome. Yeah.
Celebrity deathmatch.
AJ Raider says Texas wet dream is going to be Darth Maul versus Darth Jar Jar.
Oh God!
Why would they? No. One is a master, one is apprentice. It works fine. You team up and take over the Empire. It's awesome. But why fight when you can get along?
No, he couldn't because Darth Maul was the apprentice of Palpatine.
Count Dooku was still. You about to open up? I'm gonna need about 3 more hours to explain all this. Why this exists? Count Dooku. I don't have time to even. I'm not even going to start. Like, oh boy. Not even
Well,
gonna
Talking
start.
about like
We'll have
the sequel, the other movies and prequels. We can get into the weeds.
You know, we could just do a whole stream on like stupid movie theories. I mean, because it's not like there's any shortage of stupid movies.
I'm down. I'm down.
We may have to do
But
something like that.
the Darth Jar Jar theory is not stupid, therefore it will not be mentioned in that podcast because it is legit. But you stupid movie fans crapped all over the Phantom Menace, and George Lucas didn't have the spine to stick to his plan and just creates Count Dooku out of nowhere and blah blah blah. And here we go. Whatever.
I was like 5 years old. I was just like, woo, Star Wars. I didn't really care. I grew up with the prequel trilogy, so
The Force is not strong with you, Jeremy. The Force is not strong.
no, hold on, no. I never hated on the prequels. And now that you're all reeling back, like, oh yeah, see how much worse it could have been, and I was always still a fan. Get out of here with that.
Oh, hey, prequels rock, man. That's all I'm saying.
Prequels are awesome.
The prequels are okay.
Oh,
I'll give you.
Oh yeah, they're not the originals. I mean, no, you can't ever hold a candle to that. But
thanks to all of you for coming hang out with us. We very much appreciate it. Let me get you guys the final thoughts real quick. Tex, I'll go to you first. Final thoughts on Fanboys.
oh yeah, Fanboys, a lot of fun. A very well done movie with an emotional core wrapped in an entertaining container, and you get your heartfelt with the friendship and everything else. But the fandom, the nerd out, the arguments, the Trekkie fights, just there's so much fun to be had in this film. When you watch this, you feel like you went back to 1998. I mean, it's just, I mean, you go back all the way. It's a lot of fun. Y'all need to watch this one.
Jeremy, how about you give me your final thoughts on Fanboys?
yeah, I agree with what he said. I'm glad it's a movie that I just randomly saw in the store and decided to pick up because I'm like, just from the cover. I mean, I know you say don't judge a book, don't judge a movie by its cover, but I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty certain this is something to do with Star Wars, and I'm like, this looks goofy, and I'm so glad I found it because again, it hits a lot of the same emotional beats that like I can relate to. I'm like, again, they're just a bunch of like just 5 dickhead friends from Ohio who are like, yeah, let's go to Lucas Ranch and steal the movie, and I'm like, that sounds like some stupid shit me and my friends would do, and it's pretty real, you know. I had a similar situation where I'm like, growing up in my early 20s, I'm like, yeah, I had a friend who I was very close with who also just kind of just pissed off as soon as we graduated and just kind of came back. And I was like, well, thanks for telling us you were just going to leave. Like, you know, I felt that storyline there. But it's like at the end of the day, they're still friends. And again, Star Wars is something that holds them all together. So, yeah, This is something I do watch constantly. And again, if no one's ever seen this movie, it's free on a couple things. So
it's free on YouTube to watch. It's free on
YouTube, Tubi. I think Amazon Prime as well.
I think everything's on Prime, whether it's behind a paywall or not.
Well, this one's actually free though. I think.
I probably don't know. Yeah, it's on Tubi or it's on YouTube, free with ads. So it doesn't cost you anything but time, and I think it's going to be time well spent.
Yeah, and I love that dialogue of that scene when they finally get to the carriage house, and I'm like, I'm telling you, if I fix up my garage the way I want to like reenact that scene because I know who everybody is going to be, and it's going to be hilarious. So,
well, get your garage set up, and we'll shoot it as like an intro to a video one day.
Oh hell yeah!
We'll shoot it. We'll let Brooding Gamer edit it all together and do his thing, and he can do all his.
But see, I'm like, oh, Brooding Gamer's Hutch. You already know he is. Like,
oh yeah,
it's hilarious. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, AJ trying to get us up there. He says, let's get Frank to 1,000 subscribers. I was looking at the subscriber count earlier. I was thinking to myself, I need to start giving serious thought as to what the charity stream is going to be for when we get to 1,000, because I'm serious. Every 500 subscribers, I want to do a charity stream. So we jumped up so fast, and I'm like, oh shit, I have to start thinking about what charity we will benefit now. So I'll start putting some thought behind that. If you guys have any suggestions, feel free to go in the comments. Let me know. Hit me up on Twix. Let me know. And I have to start actively thinking about that now that we're getting so very close to it.
Did you just call it Twix? Because that's actually hilarious. Since we don't want to call it X or Twitter. Like the
lead singer of All That Remains. I watch him a lot on Tim Pool. That's what he calls it, is Twix. So I just kind of taken to calling it that.
I'm here for that.
I just taken to calling it that. But But yeah, it's for me, again, it's a fun movie. It celebrates the good part of fandom when we can all just get together and enjoy a thing, even agreeing and disagreeing like they do about things about this franchise in the movie. It's like there's still a shared love there. And I think that needs to be explored a lot more in real life. It needs to be shown a lot more in real life because I for one, get really frustrated with fans being so stupid over stupid shit. Just watch a movie, enjoy it, don't enjoy it, judge it on its merits. Don't judge it because somebody said something or some bullshit. Just watch the movie before you criticize it. One of the reasons I don't criticize Barbie is because I've never seen the movie. I mean, not that I think it's going to be bad or anything. I just haven't gotten around to it. It's not my kind of movie. And so I won't smash Barbie because I haven't seen it yet.
Like everyone right now, I don't know why the big argument now, and I haven't seen The Acolyte, but why is everyone getting all uppity about the fact that there was a fire on the outside of the ship, like in space? I'm like, have you watched the other movies where ships explode in space?
Have you ever watched a movie in space?
It's right. I'm like, actually, wait a minute. Didn't this now? I just now thought, didn't this happen in episode 1? Didn't the outside of the ship get shot? There was a flame coming out of it, and all the droids went up there to the top to put it out, and R2 was one of them.
Yeah,
this has already been a thing. Why are we getting so mad over the dumb, nonsensical stuff? I'll give the show a chance.
Yeah,
I said, I'll watch
a movie and enjoy it. And what's more than that is find other people that are going to enjoy maybe not the movies you like, but whatever you do, whether it's movies or book club even. I mean, it's whatever you do, find people who enjoy that thing the way you enjoy it and enjoy this thing as a group because it makes things so much funner. I have enjoyed watching movies even more now that I've started doing this kind of stuff with Jeremy and Tex and and Aaron and all these other people that I've done this with over the last couple of years. It's I enjoy movie watching more now because I know as soon as the credits start to roll in a movie, I can get on the phone and text Jeremy and be like, "Holy shit, I just watched this. It's great." Or I just watched this. That part you were telling me about, it really was that awesome. It's that makes it funner to share that kind of thing. So watch this movie for that and nothing else. Let it be the example of how you should approach everything in your life, not just movies.
I'm glad we're gonna watch Deadpool together, so you're not texting me every 2 hours, oh my god, did
you see that part?
I don't know, I didn't see it yet. I'm glad we're going together, so we'll experience it at the same time.
Yes, I will be. I'm sure I'll be reaching across to Jeremy to grab his shoulder and shaking him probably 5 or 6 different times. Did you see that shit? Did you see that shit?
Oh,
yeah, and we will have a Deadpool prediction show coming up before we go see Deadpool. Boy. It'll probably be the Tuesday before it comes out. That'll be what that show is going to be. I will probably not have a stream that Thursday because the movie will be coming out Thursday. I'm pretty sure that's when we're going to see it. I don't think I want to wait till Friday. I've got 4 tickets to the Friday showing, but I'm pretty sure I'm just going to go ahead and get some more to the Thursday showing. I want to be there first night. I don't want to be spoiled. I want to get right into it because I am way too jacked at what this movie is going to be. So
you're huge act, man.
Huge act, man.
Sorry, huge act, man.
Thanks,
I might even shave my my shit down and get some little some Wolverine sideburns going on.
They're pretty dope. We could do that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely getting a popcorn bucket. If they're really there, I gotta get a popcorn.
You better
bucket.
Get the popcorn bucket.
Yeah, I missed the boat really badly with the Dune 2, the Fleshlight popcorn bucket. I have to have this. It's gonna look fantastic. But thanks to my amazing co-host for being great as always. Thanks to all of you for coming to hang out with us. We will see you guys. I have no idea what we're gonna be doing on Tuesday. We'll be here doing something on Tuesday. I'll figure that out between now and then. I had planned on doing what's the one with the Crow, but I guess they pushed the Crow back again. So we'll think of something to do on Tuesday.
Oh no, we can't talk about the SoundCloud rapper Crow. Man,
they didn't make him a chick, they didn't make him gay, so we got that going for us. But anyway, thanks to all of you for hanging out with us. Very appreciate it. We will see you next time. Till then, adios.
May the force be with your shorts.
Nice.
I swear to God, this movie and Spaceballs are probably the 2 most quotable movies I've seen over most of my lifetime.
I put this over Spaceballs.
But this is so quotable, both these movies. Fantastic.
I've seen this one